The room is quiet, charged like the pre-lightning air. The gavel has not fallen yet, but everyone senses that a storm is approaching. Kody stands up slowly, a thin folder clutched in his hand, and when he puts it down on the plaintiff's table, the noise resounds through the room like the first beat of war. He gazes around the room, beyond the jury, beyond the judge, and finally settling on Robyn. Her mouth compresses, her fingers coil in her lap, and the whole gallery inclines unwittingly. The second the folder opened in court, the room went cold because what was in Kody's hands wasn't just paper, it was Robyn's secret life. The judge coughs, a rumbling and irritated sound. Brown, you assert there is evidence that personally impacts the family's estate. Proffer it. Kody doesn't glance at the judge. He doesn't even look at his own lawyer. His tone is firm, but it contains the hard bite of a man who has lived too long with the burden of a secret. Your Honor, he states, for years I believed unity. For years I trusted that every dollar, every house, every dream was common. But today, I'm here to demonstrate that Robyn withheld something from us. And when you realize this, you'll know why it's all falling apart. Gasps reverberate throughout the courtroom. Christine crosses her arms tightly over her chest, her jaw set. Janelle leans forward, her eyebrows scrunched up like she's preparing for a collision. Mary remains rigid, almost statue-like, but quiet is louder than any whisper. Robyn shifts in her seat, her lawyer whispering angrily at her side. She doesn't blink, she doesn't flinch, but her knuckles go white as she tightens her grip on the tabletop. Kody opens the folder with a flip. The first page glows in the bright courtroom lights. It's a deed. His tone doesn't rise. He doesn't need it to. $70,000. A property bought in Robyn's name. A house no one else in this family was aware of. The gallery erupts with grumblings. The jury freezes. The judge leans forward. And your contention, he says slowly, is that this house was hidden on purpose? Kody nods once. His gaze doesn't waver from Robyn. Not only hidden, Your Honor, hidden, kept secret. A secret intended to exclude the family from the truth. Robyn breaks motion at last. She shakes her head, her voice cracking as she bursts out. It wasn't like that. You don't understand. The judge bangs his gavel. Mrs. Brown, you will hold your peace until spoken to. That gavel crashes out and makes the walls shudder. And for a split second, it's as if the entire building stops breathing. If you catch your breath constricting, it's because secrets this substantial don't remain on paper. They suffocate the air they occupy. The defense attorney rises, smoothing her jacket, her voice crisp but strained. Your Honor, my client acted out of necessity. This was a provisional purchase, meant only as temporary shelter during a time of family unrest. There was no intent to conceal. The judge narrows his eyes. Intent doesn't replace disclosure. I'll hear more after evidence is presented. His Kody flips another page. The second document falls onto the table with a soft thud, but its impact hits like an earthquake. And this, he says, is where the story gets rich. Because this wasn't just one house. Christine's jaw drops. Janelle's eyes flash with justification. Mary, still in silence, sets her jaw. Robyn gazes at the documents. Her face ashy, her lips shaking, and the room starts buzzing once more. The judge holds up his hand for order. But everyone in this courtroom, not even the judge, can dispute it. This is just the start. And this is the part that makes you watch. Because once the first secret slips out, the rest can't be contained. The courtroom is tight, almost claustrophobic, as if the walls themselves sense that they're about to see something unforgettable. 1,000 unspoken words dangle in the air, heavy with betrayal and expectation. The judge pushes his glasses up, drumming his pen against the bench with a beat that is more threat than tick. To his right, Kody Brown stands up slow, each step measured, his jaw clenched with the gravity of what he is about to share. He grips a thin, worn folder in his hand, and although the documents within are light, they could be lead, because what they contain could shatter the tenuous illusion of family that has endured for years. Opposite him, Robyn sits rigidly at the defense table. Her lawyer leans over close, whispering tactics, but Robyn doesn't listen. Her gaze flicks from Kody to the judge, and then back to the folder. Her lips are so tightly clamped together that her face shudders with the effort to keep them that way. To everyone else, she would appear to be as calm as could be expected. But Christine, Janelle, and Mary, watching in the gallery mere rows away, can tell. They have known her long enough to recognize the telltale signs of fear. Kody breathes once, then again. When he does speak, his voice is low and measured, but it cuts the silence in half. Your Honor, he starts. For years, I thought there was something sacred, something that mattered. A family based on honesty. A home based on togetherness. But today, I present you with evidence that shows we were not all truthful. Evidence that Robyn, his gaze holds hers, hard and unblinking, held a secret that would alter everything. A murmur runs through the court. The jury fidgets. A few of them looking at one another as if to say, this isn't what we thought we'd hear today. The judge holds up a hand, his voice steady but firm. Mr. Brown, this court wants evidence, not orations. Proceed with your allegation. Kody doesn't blink. He sets the folder on the table. It is a small sound, but it reverberates in the room like a gunshot. His fingers quiver ever so slightly as he opens it, but they never move from ROBYN'S. The initial page is yanked out and pushed toward the clerk. The judge leans forward. This, Kody says, is a property deed, a house purchased for $70,000. A house none of us knew about. Gasps are heard drifting through the gallery. Christine is leaning forward, her eyes going wide in shock, although a part of her appears unsurprised. Janelle has her head cocked, muttering to herself, I knew something wasn't adding up. Mary sits quietly, hands clasped demurely in her lap, but the flash of pain in her eyes betrays the serene facade she is attempting to keep up. Robyn's face pales. Her lawyer jumps to his feet, his voice sharp and defensive. Your Honor, my client made a conditional purchase. It was never meant to be hidden. The house was for temporary shelter in a period of turmoil in the family. The judge's eyes become hard. Intent is not disclosure. The question remains, why was this property not disclosed in the joint estate? All eyes shift back to Robyn, who swallows hard but remains silent. One secret has already been broken, but plenty more are just waiting to spill. Kody continues. It wasn't the purchase, Your Honor. It was the timing. This land was purchased in the same month Robyn promised the rest of us that there was nothing left, that all the resources were depleted. While we were struggling to keep the family going, she was constructing her own means of escape. Finally, Robyn speaks, her voice trembling as she leans into the microphone. It wasn't an escape. It was protection for my children, for us all. I was waiting for the right moment to inform them, but the family was disintegrating already. The judge bangs his gavel once. You will address me only when spoken to. Mrs. Brown. The wood on wood echoes off marble walls, and after the sound there is complete silence. Kody does not glance away from her. You don't purchase a house in secret for safety. You purchase it because you intend to leave. His statement hurts more than any proof could. Christine blows out sharply, whispering to Janelle, I knew it wasn't stress. She was staging this the entire time. Janelle nods tightly, her lips curled into a thin line. Mary remains wordless, but her eyes are shining. The defense lawyer swiftly attempts to take back control. Your Honor, my client's behavior must be viewed within the context of huge family instability. She was acting under emotional pressure, not ill will. This was a stopgap, not a betrayal. The judge looks to Kody. Do you have further evidence to prove your assertion? Kody's grip on the folder becomes tighter. He draws out a second sheet. Yes, Your Honor. This is only the start. The secrets aren't ending here. This is only one strand in a web that may choke them all. He sets the second document down on the table. A bank statement. Yellow circled numbers, marked in red ink. This account, Kody says, wasn't revealed. Funds were transferred in secretly, timed just right so that family audits would be avoided. Payments were made on the same dates Robyn insisted she couldn't cover simple bills. The jury moves in closer. The gallery hums once more. Robyn shakes her head violently, saying something to her lawyer, but the giveaway is in her eyes, wide, desperate, with a look of panic. Christine buries her hand in her mouth. Janelle says, there it is. I knew she had something up her sleeve. Mary ducks her chin down, her eyes shutting for a split second, as if trying to cover the view of truth revealed. Robyn's lawyer stands up once more. Your Honor, we object to this evidence. Bank accounts are not enough to establish motive. My client did intend to ultimately reveal this information, but things between the family were made hard. The judge arches an eyebrow. Hard is different from impossible. The law doesn't accommodate convenience. The gavel is poised above the bench, waiting to fall again. Kody stands up straight, his tone harder now, more absolute, driven by years of ire finally set free. This has nothing to do with challenge. This has to do with betrayal. Every dollar, every deceit, every secret key. It was all meant to exclude us, and I won't have that anymore. The ensuing silence is oppressive, heavy, relentless. The courtroom leans in toward him, drawn by the weight of his conviction, because deep inside everyone knows. Betrayal doesn't whisper forever. It ultimately screams. The judge speaks at last. Very well, this court will examine the exhibits. We will go on with testimony. But you need to know this, Mr. Brown, if you are presenting secrets, be ready to substantiate every single one of them. Kody nods, his gaze flashing to Robyn one last time. She regards him, her complexion waxy, her frame rigid, as though she's preparing to take a hit. And in that instant, everyone present understands. This was merely the opening salvo. The true tempest has yet to erupt. The gavel strikes again, loud and final, pulling everyone back into their seats after the brief recess. The air in the courtroom feels different now. Thicker, charged, as though everyone can sense the temperature of truth rising. The jury files back in, eyes wide, already whispering to themselves. The judge leans forward, expression carved in stone. Mr. Brown, he says, you've made serious allegations. If there is more, now is the time to present it. Kody stands, firm but smoldering within. His hand sits atop the folder, its weight heavier than it has ever been. He recognizes what is to come, will not only reveal Robyn, but strip away every excuse, every tenuous shield she has attempted to use to hide behind. He takes a deep breath, allowing the quiet to compile. Your Honor, he speaks softly, yet carries the house was merely the introduction. What I am about to reveal to you is the start of a pattern of lies. A life constructed on secrets. Christine inclines forward in the gallery, fingers grasping the wooden railing until her knuckles turn white. Janelle folds her arms across her chest, lips pursed tight, eyes fixed on Robyn with rage and vindication. Mary sits motionless, but the desolation in her eyes makes her appear a decade older in 10 minutes. Robyn swallows, her parched throat, her knotted hands in her lap. She knows what's going to be said. But she has no idea how much Kody has. She looks over at her attorney, who returns a well-rehearsed, comforting smile. But comfort doesn't chase fear away. Kody takes out another piece of paper from the folder. It's longer than the deed, a sequence of transfers and numbers. He puts it down on the table in front of him, his voice constricting. Here is a string of wire transfers. Tens of thousands of dollars transferred quietly, methodically into accounts we had no idea existed. And each one arrived the same day. Robyn said she had no money left to give. The jury bristles. The courtroom fills with whispers. The noise building until the judge has to pound his gavel again. Order. This court will have order. And this is the point where audiences lean forward. Because money doesn't lie, even when people do. Robyn's lawyer stands up rapidly, her voice stern. Your Honor, the transfers don't establish deceit. My client was under tremendous stress. She handled money through times of turmoil. This money was being kept aside to bring about stability for the kids. She did not mean to conceal it forever. The judge furrows a brow. Set aside, in hidden accounts. He pages through the papers, his eyes narrowing as he reads the highlighted lines. These aren't small sums. These aren't coincidences. This is a conscious pattern. Kody's jaw clenches. Right, Your Honor. It was intentional. Every step, every redirect. While the rest of us struggled, while Christine sold her own jewelry to pay for groceries, while Janelle worked overtime just to keep the electricity on, Robyn was diverting funds away. She lied to our faces and said we were all struggling equally. But she wasn't struggling whatsoever. She was creating a nest egg, just for herself. Christine gasps loudly, covering her lips. Janelle shakes her head, outrage flaring in her eyes. Mary closes her eyes for a moment, as if attempting to shut out the burning sting of betrayal she already had suspected. Robyn's voice catches as she stammers out, "That's not true. I wasn't building for me. I was covering us in case everything fell apart." The judge snaps his attention to her. "Mrs. Brown, you will not speak out of turn again." His gavel comes down once more. The room is thick with tension, like a stretched string that will break. Kody doesn't bat an eye. He produces another paper. Emails, correspondence between Robyn and her accountant. Here he pushes them across the table. The clerk takes them from him, delivers them to the judge. These are written exactly a week after she swore the rest of us. She had nothing to her name. And in them she specifically inquires how to conceal assets in other relatives' names to conceal them from our audits. The judge's pen freezes in mid-stroke. He glares up, his eyes flashing across the courtroom. "Is this true, Mrs. Brown?" Robyn is locked in a freeze of its own. Her lawyer moves close, talking fast in an urgent whisper. But Robyn's face is answer enough. Her lips quiver, her eyes shine. For once she is unable to produce a performance strong enough to get her through. When excuses collapse, silence tells the truth, louder than words ever have. The judge lets out a heavy sigh, then addresses Kody. "Go on." Kody nods and pulls out the next page. It doesn't stop there. "A second house. Not only the house I showed you before. A second house, bought in the name of Robyn's cousin. But the payments? Paid straight out of her account. The same secret account used by those wire transfers. The same account she testified did not exist." The gallery gasps once more. Christine slaps her hand on the bench in shock. "A second home?" she asks Janelle in a whisper. "When we were drowning in bills." Janelle's gaze hardens. She constructed an escape route. Robyn's face contorts. Her shoulders hunch as if the pressure of each document is bearing down on her. "It wasn't like that," she mutters under her breath, but the microphone fails to capture it. The defense lawyer attempts again, her voice more strained now. "Your Honor, once more, this has to be viewed in the context of family instability. My client acted out of fear, not greed. She thought the family's stability was disintegrating, and she was looking for temporary sanctuary." The judge's voice hardens. Temporary sanctuary does not account for concealing assets, moving money or doctoring records. Fear does not justify lying. The courtroom is charged. Each word hangs in the air like a match. If you've ever had the earth beneath you relocate, you know this moment, where all you believe to be solid starts to break apart. Kody moves in, his voice shaking now, not because he is weak, but because years of pent-up frustration spill out. "You have no idea what it's like, Your Honor." Sitting down at a dinner table, looking across the table at someone who promises they are with you, while behind your back they're constructing walls, to battle for a family already forsaken. His words linger in the air. The gallery is quiet now, not even a whisper. Even the jury seems shaken, their eyes moving back and forth between Kody and Robyn. The judge breathes out. "We will hear testimony. Miss Christine Brown, step up to the stand." Christine stands slowly, her heels clicking on the floor with each careful step. She is sworn in, her voice firm. When she sits, her eyes move directly to Robyn. "Once she said to me," Christine starts, "that she wanted a place to feel safe, that she couldn't breathe in the family craziness anymore. I thought she was talking about an emotional sanctuary. But now I understand. She meant one literally. A house, an escape. She did this." The tension on Robyn's face deepens. Her eyes well with tears, but she sheds them quickly, refusing to let them fall here, in public. The defense lawyer intervenes. "Miss Brown, might it be that your understanding is skewed, that you got the intention wrong?" Christine positively shakes her head. "No, she told us she would let us know later. Later never happened, because she had no intention of ever telling us. This isn't about houses or cash. It's about betrayal that goes to the marrow." The judge takes notes, his expression stern. "This will be entered into record." He glances over at Kody. "Mr. Brown, do you have additional evidence?" Kody breathes a sigh. He returns his hand to the folder. It's reduced in thickness now, but what's left could be the knife's sharpest edge. "Yes, Your Honor, there is more, much more, and it will reveal just how deep these secrets run." The gavel falls again, its sound echoing through the room like thunder on the horizon. All of them lean forward. Everyone knows this trial is no longer about property.
It's about the truth that won't remain buried. And as Robyn dips her eyes, finally allowing tears to fall onto the table, the question hanging in the air is no longer what did she conceal, but how much more will this family endure? The courtroom is smaller now, as though the walls have leaned in to hear. The air is thick, not only with tension, but with the palpable weight of judgment about to descend. Christine has just left the witness stand, her words still ringing in the air, leaving behind the flavor of betrayal that cannot be ignored. The judge clears his throat, tapping his pen on the bench in brief, sharp staccatos. "Mr. Brown," he informs Kody, staring at him. "You've made some very serious charges, and up to now your testimony has been corroborated by documents and witness affidavits. But if there's more to reveal, this court demands nothing less than the whole truth. Do you get that?" Kody stands up, his voice firm but thick with suppressed emotion. "Yes, Your Honor, I see. And I'm ready to tell all." His eyes flash briefly to Robyn, whose shoulders are slumped now, her originally well-controlled poise beginning to disintegrate under the sheer force of it. She won't meet his eyes, won't even look in his direction. Instead, her shaking fingers twist into the corner of her sleeve, curling and uncurling, as if she can squeeze out the terror. The judge gestures toward the folder, still resting on the table. "Proceed." Kody lifts the final pages, the crisp paper fluttering slightly in his grip. "Your Honor," he begins, "what I've shown so far proves financial deception, hidden properties, concealed accounts. But these last pieces," he pauses, swallowing hard, "they reveal something more. These aren't just lies about money, they're lies about loyalty." A shocked silence descends over the courtroom. Christine, Janelle and Mary share suspicious looks, their expressions taut. Robyn tenses, finally raising her eyes to Kody, her wide eyes filled with fear. She shakes her head slowly, mouthing silent words that no one can hear. Kody sets the first paper down on the table. "It's not a deed, it's not a bank statement, it's a letter." His voice becomes heavier with every sentence. "This is a letter from Robyn to a property lawyer. In it she talks about transferring funds into trusts that aren't part of our family, trusts that would essentially exclude me and the other wives completely." Her language is unambiguous. She wanted freedom, she wanted separation, and she wanted it behind closed doors. The eyes of the jury widen. The judge sits forward, reading over the letter, his face growing more stern with every second. And this is where the foundation gives way. Because money betrayal is one thing, but betrayal of fidelity cuts deeper than any amount of money ever could. Robyn's lawyer shoots up quickly, voice loud. "Objection, this letter is being taken out of context. My client was just considering legal means during a period of familial unrest. There was no actual intent to proceed with these arrangements." But the judge slowly shakes his head. Intent doesn't nullify preparation. This letter says a lot. He places the paper on the bench, his gavel hovering mere inches from his fingers. Kody insists. His voice breaks a little now, not through weakness, but through the magnitude of what he's revealing. "For years I stood in front of everybody. My wives, my children, our family. And I swore we were together. I said we were one family. But all that time, Robyn was constructing an exit, brick by brick, silently." Christine closes her eyes, her face contorting in pain. Janelle grumbles under her breath. "I knew she was pushing away. I just didn't realize how far." Mary gazes at Robyn, her face unemotionable, as if finally seeing her as she is. Robyn can't restrain herself anymore. Her voice breaks, pleading, rough. "I had no choice. You don't know what it was like, living every day, not knowing when it would all fall apart. I did it for survival, for my kids, not to betray anyone." The judge bangs his gavel. "Mrs. Brown, you will calm down or you will be held in contempt." Her lawyer ushers her back into her seat, low-voiced with rage, but Robyn's tears have begun, streaming down her face, blurring the perfect picture she worked so hard to keep. Kody doesn't blink. He spreads out the last paper in the folder. His voice lowers, softer now, his voice shaking, but the words ring like thunder. "And then there's this." He places down a photograph. It isn't numbers. It isn't paper. It's a picture of Robyn standing outside the hidden house, smiling faintly, holding keys in her hand. The date stamped at the bottom shows it was taken weeks before she told the family she was broke.
The gallery gasps aloud. Christine exhales sharply, whispering, "She lied to our faces." Janelle covers her mouth with shock. Even Mary winces, her eyes flicking to the photograph, her composure slipping for the first time. The judge examines the photograph, his jaw clenching. This is direct evidence of concealment. And this is the breaking point. The moment the mask slips, and what's left is irrefutable. Robyn cracks. She cries out now, her voice shattering with each plea. "It wasn't meant to be this way. I didn't want it to ever get this bad. You don't get it. I was suffocating. I thought, if I could just have one place to keep us safe." Her words buckle beneath the weight of her tears. The judge's gavel comes down once, but less forcefully this time. Nearly tired. "Mrs. Brown, this is no longer an excuse. This court will receive testimony from further witnesses." He glances into the gallery. "Miss Janelle Brown, come forward to the stand." Janelle stands slowly, her feet firm but weighed down by intent. She takes the oath, her tone steady, in control. When she sits, she looks straight at Robyn. "Miss Brown," counsel starts. "Did Robyn ever let you know she was buying up other properties?" Janelle vigorously shakes her head. "No, she said to us all she was struggling, that she was barely hanging on. Meanwhile, she was diverting money away. While we were living every dollar, she was purchasing security in the rear view." Counsel persists. "And how did you feel when you did find this out?" Janelle breathes slowly, her voice constricting. "It was like betrayal. Not of money, but of trust. We were like a family, but she was secretly making her exit." Her words resonate in the room, weighing like stone. Because betrayal uncovered by a sister wife is something no judge can disregard. Robyn shakes her head violently, whispering, No, that's not true." But her voice is drowned out by the silence that follows Janelle's words. The judge scribbles notes, his face grim, his patience thinning. "This court will reconvene tomorrow for further testimony. But let me be clear, these allegations are severe. And so far, the evidence is damning." The gavel slams down. The sound reverberates like thunder through the chamber, final and unyielding. As the courtroom departs, Christine lays a hand on Janelle's shoulder. "We knew something wasn't right. Now the world knows it too." Janelle inclines her head, her gaze never wavering from Robyn, who sits slumped at the defense table, tears streaming down her face. Her secret's no longer secret, but revealed to all. And when the doors finally close on them, the question lingers in the air like a cloud of smoke. If this is just the start, how bad can the truth get? The courtroom is more crowded than ever on the fourth day of testimony. News of the Brown trial has spread, and the gallery now is filled with interested spectators, reporters taking notes, and bystanders who came solely to watch what secret would drop next. The buzz of whispered rumors swells until the bailiff orders silence. The gavel rings out sharply and commandedly, and the judge comes in with a face that seems grimmer than ever before. "Order in this court," he says. "We will be proceeding. Mr. Brown, you may proceed with your evidence." Slowly Kody stands up, the pressure of the previous session still written on his face. The folder by his side is now slender. There are only a few sheets left, but the atmosphere implies these last pages have the hardest corners. He glances at the judge, then Robyn, and then the jury. "Your Honor," he continues, his voice low and deliberate. "Yesterday we disclosed properties, secret accounts, and letters of intent. But today, we dig deeper. Today we deal with not only secrets of money, but secrets of the heart." The courtroom tenses. Even the court reporter stops typing for a moment. Robyn breathes unsteadily, her fingers shaking as she holds a tissue. Her lawyer leans in close to her, whispering rapidly, but she hardly listens. Her heart thunders in her ears. Kody holds up the first piece of paper. "This," he says, "is a communication record. Emails between Robyn and a private attorney. Not only does she inquire about how to conceal assets, but she talks about legally distancing herself from the family, quietly without fanfare. She referred to it, in her own terminology, as building a safe exit." The jury murmurs. The crowd stirs. Christine lets out a gasp, her head moving back and forth. Janelle says in disgust, "I knew it. I knew she was going to leave." Mary holds her tongue, her lips pursed into a line, but her eyes are shining as if each sentence hurts her more. The judge reads the paper, his face growing darker. "Mrs. Brown, is that your letter?" Robyn's lips quiver. She parts her lips but there is nothing. Her lawyer stands up hastily. "Your Honor, we object to the terminology. My client investigated her lawful alternatives throughout a troubled time. Investigating does not equal carrying out." She did not carry out. But the judge shakes his head, his tone like iron. Intent rings clearer than apology when combined with secret acts. Evidence indicates intent to mislead. Robyn's eyes fill with tears. She grips her tissue, dabbing furiously. But the dam is breaking. And this is where the pressure becomes unbearable. Because secrets are heavy, and eventually they crush the ones who try to carry them alone. Kody's tone escalates now, spurred on by years of anger. "Do you have any idea, Your Honor? Standing in front of your children, and promising you're creating a future together, while behind the scenes someone you've trusted is plotting her getaway. This isn't financial betrayal. This is emotional treason." Robyn wasn't merely secretly stashing cash. She was concealing her intention to leave us all behind. The gallery gasps. Christine puts her hand on her chest and whispers, "So it's true. She never intended to stay." Janelle's jaw clenches. Mary stares at her hands, folded on her lap, tears coursing quietly down her face. The judge bangs his gavel once. Order, but even he can't entirely suppress the raw emotion pouring into the room. Robyn breaks. She leans forward, crying openly now, her words spilling out in gasps. "I was afraid. Do you hear me? I was afraid every day. We might not make it another year. I didn't know. I wasn't leaving. I was getting ready. In case everything fell apart. You can't know what that fear is like." Her voice rings out in the room, unbridled and unfinished. The jury seems shaken. Some feel sorry for her. Others turn against her. Kody, though, refuses to yield. He bangs his fist on the table, his words shaking with anger. "Fear is no justification for treason. We all had to survive with fear. Robyn, we all had to make sacrifices. But you built a lifeboat for yourself and left us all to founder." The judge bangs his gavel. "Mr. Brown, please. This is a courtroom, not a brawl." Kody takes a harsh breath, pushing his voice back into line, though his eyes fire with indignation. "I apologize, Your Honor, but the truth has to be heard. Because when tears meet rage, the truth doesn't just emerge. It detonates." The judge signals to the clerk. "Call the next witness." The bailiff opens the door. The name rings out. "Mary Brown, please approach the stand." The gallery tenses. Christine and Janelle trade a look. Mary stands up slowly, her face ashen but resolute. Her heels click against the highly polished floor. As she moves forward, she administers the oath, her voice firm through the shake of her hands. When she sits, her gaze rises. Not to the judge, not to Kody, but straight at Robyn. The defense lawyer stands up first. "Miss Brown, you and Robyn have been acquainted for years. During that time, did she ever express a desire to leave the family?" Mary hesitates. Her voice is low, barely above a whisper, but it is audible, not verbally, but in deeds. "Yes." The lawyer furrows his brow. "Explain." Mary breathes out, tears shining. She distanced small things at first. Different accounts, secret talks. She said she was struggling, that she needed space. But space turned to distance, and distance turned to secrecy. "I noticed it. I felt it. I knew she wasn't here anymore." Robyn thrashes her head back and forth, whispering, "No, that's not true." But tears tell another story. The attorney presses. "But did she ever directly confess this intent to you?" Mary looks down, her voice tightening. "No, but sometimes silence speaks louder than words." And her silence was deafening. The courtroom stills. The judge scribbles notes, his jaw tight. And this is the moment where viewers can't look away, because testimony born from pain carries a truth that no document can match. The prosecutor enters the stage now. "Miss Brown, could you say that Robyn's behavior caused discord in the family?" Mary's gaze becomes cold, her words firm. "Yes, she broke us. We struggled to remain together.
and she put up walls, and now the walls have come tumbling down, and we're in shambles. The jury appears somber. The gallery hums in concurrence. Robyn weeps openly now, her shoulders shuddering. I didn't mean to. I didn't want this. She wails, but her voice is lost in the reverberations of Mary's testimony. The judge leans back, his countenance stern, his patience worn thin. This court has heard sufficient for today. Tomorrow we will inspect last evidence and plan for closing arguments. He bangs his gavel. The report like thunder. Court is adjourned. The room explodes. Gasps. Whispers, reporters frantic with note-taking. Christine and Janelle head for the door, their features set in stern determination. Mary sits for a moment longer, her eyes locked on Robyn, her face impenetrable. Kody picks up his folder, which is practically empty now. He looks at Robyn once more, his voice hushed, addressed only to her. You can cry all you like, but tomorrow the final secret is out. And with that, he exits, leaving Robyn folded over the defense table, her tears falling to the gleaming wood. She is aware that the storm is far from over. The worst is yet to be revealed, because when someone utters the words "the last secret," you understand it's the one that will transform everything. The gavel thunders at 9 o'clock on the dot, and the courtroom is silent as a pin could drop. The judge is exhausted now, his eyes tired but keen, as if the burdens of this case have worn him down in mere days. The gallery is more packed than before. Reporters, relatives, curious bystanders. Everyone eager to see the unspooling of secrets larger than merely a family. Kody stands, his hand on the folder holding one sealed envelope. He's older too, weary from the emotional tempest, but there's steel in his eyes that will not shatter. His voice is softer than normal, deliberate, as if he is aware that each syllable might be the one that will shatter Robyn utterly. Your Honor, he starts. We've found houses, bank accounts and letters in the previous sessions. But today is different. What I present to you now is not about figures. It's not about finances. It's about betrayal, in the most fundamental sense. The one which severs through trust, through love, through the very essence of family itself. The jury sets its face. Christine clutches the railing, her eyes locked on him. Janelle sets forward, rigid, ready for impact. Mary clamps her hands together tightly, her knuckles white, her face unreadable. Robyn's head snaps up, her face white, her lips shaking. She shakes her head slowly, mouthing words. No, not that, please not that. Her lawyer furrows his brow, puzzled, whispering frantically to her, but she does not respond. Kody opens the envelope. Inside, a set of printed messages. He holds them respectfully, almost prayerfully, before passing them to the clerk. These, he explains, are communications, off-the-record conversations, between Robyn and a third party. In them, she articulates her intention to distance herself from the family, to create her own foundation in private. But worse than that, his voice breaks, but only just. She refers to us not as partners, not as family, but as barriers, as weights to be fled. The courtroom is filled with gasps. Christine buries her face in her hand, tears brimming in her eyes. Janelle and Mary stare on in shocked dismay, whispering to each other. Barriers, we were her sisters. Mary's lips compress further, her face immobile, but her eyes glistening with anguish. The judge holds up his hand. Silence, I will have silence in this court. The gavel falls once, quieting the room, but not the tempest in every person's heart. And here the knife is turned, since betrayal uttered aloud hurts more than any secret action. The prosecutor recites from one of the messages. I can't live like this anymore. They drain me. I need my own space, my own security. If I can move the money and close on the house, I'll finally be free. Gasps spread through the gallery. Christine's tears overflow. Janelle shakes her head wildly, muttering, free? She wanted to be free of us. Mary drops her eyes, muttering nothing but shaking. Robyn covers her face with her hands and weeps. I didn't mean it like that. I was venting. I was desperate. You can't take words said in fear and turn them into truth. The judge gives her a stern look. Mrs. Brown, calm down. You will get your turn to reply. Kody continues, his voice raw now, trembling, each word hacked from decades of suffering. We were not burdens. We were your family. And while we were giving up everything to keep this family alive, You were scheming your getaway. You said you were loyal. You said you were devoted. But in the privacy of your own homes, you fantasized about freedom from us. His voice cracks on the final word, and for the first time, the courtroom witnesses not only anger in Kody, but heartbreak. And this is the hook that clutches at the audience harder. Because anger rings, but heartbreak lingers. The judge exhales deeply. The court will recall Christine Brown to the stand. Christine stands up, her face smudged with tears, but her walk unshakable. She reiterates the oath, then sits down, looking Robyn straight in the eye. Christine, the lawyer starts. You've heard the messages. Do these words reflect what you saw in your relationship with Robyn? Christine's voice shakes, but it doesn't waver. Yes, she was always searching for an escape. She was always making excuses. When things became difficult, she backed away. We believed she was overwhelmed. We gave her grace. But now I realize, she was never going to stay. She was going to survive without us. Robyn weeps, shaking her head furiously. But Christine's words slice like a knife. The lawyer probes further. And how did that impact the family? Christine sighs, the weight of her sorrow in her voice. It destroyed us. We believed her. We believed her. Tears. Her words. Her lies. But while we were investing ourselves in keeping this family intact, she was investing herself in creating an exit strategy. It wasn't betrayal. It was abandonment. The gallery shuffles. Some bow their heads in agreement. Others shake their heads in disbelief. The gravity of her words hangs in the air. And this is the reality. The audience can't turn away from betrayal. Isn't a matter of lies. It's the second you see that love was never equal. The judge jots down notes, and then looks directly at Robyn. Mrs. Brown, this court has heard damning evidence. Do you wish to respond before we continue? Robyn stands up slowly, her body quivering. Her voice is croaky, fractured. Yes, Your Honor. I must be heard. Her lawyer grabs her arm, frantically whispering, but she pushes him away. She moves towards the judge, her sobs streaming down. I was afraid, she starts, her voice shaking. I was suffocating with fear every day. I did not know what to do. When I wrote those words, when I made those plans, it was not because I wanted to betray them. It was because I did not trust that the family would survive. I was trying to prepare for the worst. She glances at Christine, then Janelle, then Mary, her eyes pleading for forgiveness. I never stopped loving you. I never stopped caring. I panicked. And I made mistakes I can't take back. Her sentences linger in the air, shattered and desperate. Kody gets up slowly, his gaze fixed on her. His tone is gentler now, but no less keen. You call them mistakes. I call them choices. And choices have consequences. The judge raps his gavel. Enough. This court will be reconvening tomorrow for final witness testimony. And afterwards deliberation. The gavel thunders, and the room falls silent. The courtroom is a hum of whispers. Reporters writing madly. The gallery a murmur of shock. Christine and Janelle stand, their faces twisted with rage and sorrow. Mary remains seated, her tears streaming silently down her face. Robyn slumps back into her seat, her body trembling, her secrets exposed to the world. And yet Kody's words ring out louder than anything else. Choices have consequences. The most that seizes the audience most. If this was the final secret, what punishment awaits in the judge's decision? The gavel comes down with a resounding crash, and the hum of the courtroom ceases at once. The judge speaks with an even firmer voice, his tone admitted of no dissent. This court has received testimony, witnessed documents, and heard allegations that shake the very foundations of trust within this family. But before we deliberate, I believe one more step is required. He pauses, glancing at the clerk, then back at the room. We will hear from additional witnesses, and this time no one is off the table. The gallery stiffens. Christine and Janelle exchange wary looks. Mary's hands twist together in her lap, as if bracing for an unseen blow. Robyn lowers her gaze, her tears dried, but her face hollow, like a woman who has cried herself empty. Kody sits straighter, his folder now closed, confident that everything is out. But he doesn't know, something else is waiting. The bailiff says a name, and the whole courtroom